ALTTPR League fans. This is I'm Vortex of Doom. It is rando time for some casual boots today. We got a spicy matchup here between SeanRhapsody of the Swordbeam Club and Shivahaze from unsere man, I can't actually read it. Unsere Alkoholmannschaft hat ein Volleyballproblem.
Very good.
I had to remember which order the words were, and then I remembered they were switched. So both teams looking to rack up some other wins. I am joined by Ravis in the commentary booth today. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How about you?
Doing very well. Excited for this matchup. I've definitely played both of these runners numerous times in pickup races, ladder qualifiers, tournament races. Shivahaze, I have matched up with several times recently on ladder, and it's gone both ways. So very good runner there. And Sean has my races with Sean have definitely gone both ways as well. So looking forward to this one.
Yeah, these guys are pretty known in like ladder community stuff and random tournament in general. Even in the NMG community, like Shivahaze is pretty active there. I don't know about Sean, but at least him.
Yeah, Sean isn't a big runner of NMG, but that's not to say his execution isn't very good. He can definitely keep up with any runner in the open league for certain. So first choice of escape made. Shivahaze does decide to pick up one bit of magic. Really hate to find powder or something and a free hammer and not be able to check magic bat in Kakariko.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that. You might find something interesting as well, where you might need to do some magic stuff.
Yeah, like even like a fire rod somewhere here and escape will probably save Shiva that couple seconds on picking that up with just a quicker ball and chain kill, for instance. Sean opting to forgo it. I know a lot of runners just are like, I've got boots and a sword, I gotta go fast. That's slow. Picking up both those pots is like 2 seconds. I pick them both up every time, but I can definitely see why you wouldn't.
But I agree with you there. I mean, you have to be careful about your resources, especially at the start of the siege, right?
Yeah. Not much in escape so far, though. Got the key and 20 rupees. So everything in the front of escape and the back of escape will be an item, except for a small key, which has to be before Dark Cross and the map, which can be anywhere, including Sanctuary. So one of the only things to really think much about in escape is whether you've gotten that map, and whether there will be, like whether you need to maybe.
Shiva gotta be a little bit careful here, but gets it done with half a heart.
I think maybe if he didn't have that fairy in a bottle, he might have played.
You don't want to use that. You don't want to use that bottle here.
You don't want to use it, but maybe you're willing to use it instead of going all the way back across the room and grabbing a pot.
But that might be as slow or fast as if you use the fairy, right? So you kind of don't want to do that. Although Shivahaze is also known for trying to death warp and having fairies in his bottle. There was an infamous race where he not only did that once because he forgot his pot Becky to get to Helma, but a second time in a row forgot a second fairy. So maybe it would have been an advantage getting that fairy out of the way right now.
If it does take the time to pick up a quick heart, not much that is likely to do half a heart in the back of escape here. You might get hit by a rat for a quarter of a heart if you're not careful, but better safe than sorry. You do want to go fast, but that fairy animation does lose about 7-8 seconds, I think. So it's and
Oh,
plus
yeah,
you
oh,
don't have it for when you really want it.
Chat correcting me on that instead. It was actually 3 times in a row. I apologize.
Thank you, Tom Weir. Is our map, so not going to be skipping any chests in Escape.
Alright, 3 juicy checks coming up here. Hopefully not the map.
And one of the nice things about casual boots is it removes one of the biggest complaints about the standard start, which is farming for bombs early. You might get a bad couple prize packs, you might get bad drop RNG. Now, luckily, with a recent patch, drop RNG has been seeded, so the same enemy, the same kill will result in a drop across both runners during the escape sequence. But it's still nice to just not have to worry about that.
Turns out we actually have seen the map before. I didn't see it.
The map was in Dark Cross. We do get a map check, and 5-6 crystals are Hera and Desert with a pendant at Eastern Palace. So definitely some juicy options later in the seed. Maybe
And there's the powder you mentioned. Yeah, that could be awkward actually for Sean.
Yeah, if we get a hammer, yeah, that could definitely present some options. Like the best backup at this point is to okay, well.
I was just about to say, watch have magic just sit in the well, but okay.
Then,
this way. Okay, well, no magic issues at all.
Nothing on Lumberjack worth doing Aga for. Doesn't mean we won't have to, but just means we're more likely to last locate it now. I do like that both runners decided to do the Lumberjack check. I can never bring myself to skip it in casual boots. In open boots, I don't always check it because you don't have that sword that's already putting you there. Find a bow. An interesting find.
Yeah, I mean, normally you would be hyped to see that, but with the pendant Eastern, that's not something like you're too hyped about, but hey, you'd rather take the bow than not, right?
Interestingly, I think that bow makes the Eastern play less likely than if you didn't have a bow, because like you might never need to come back to Eastern if you don't have a bow, so like maybe you just check it out. But with a bow, you have the question of like, well, do I commit all the way to Armos here, or do I bail? Sean, both runners grabbing a bomb from the bonk rock. This is a guaranteed drop. This is a very common play early in casual boots. Shivahaze only did it once and gambled that he'd find some bombs, which he did. Sean playing it safe, grabbing 2, planning to probably buy a third, buy some if he doesn't find any before going to the South Half.
Oh, and silvers as well.
And a Master Sword. So a couple bows already, a Master Sword.
Yeah, we can kill Ganon already, right? So
yeah, that's true. Well, we do need a fire source, but
unless you can do like the quadruple arrow, isn't there some weird shenanigans possible?
Yeah, there is, but I think you need the gold sword for that.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. Not quite there.
I think it has to be like a poke into the silver shots. Much in the well, though. Some more bombs. Neither runner gonna have to spend any money on them.
Alright, looks like that hammer might not be coming up in Kakariko at least.
Okay, a couple checks left. We do get
There's a
kind of Moon
Moon
Pearl, though.
Yeah. That makes fake flippering more interesting for sure.
Yeah, there's now a decision of whether to like set up a water walk, whether you take that water walk to Hobo, maybe set up a double water walk, fake flipper to waterfall, check Zora Ledge to see if maybe you could just get that item with that second water walk. That's a really uncommon play, but one that I have seen. And Shiva deciding is going to pick up that 20 rupees. You know, borderline fluff, but it has been have seen a completely empty mini Moldorm cave and Ice Red cave, completely no rupees whatsoever, and it'd be really awkward to go to Zora or to have that water walk set up and you're like 25 rupees short. Maybe you kill one enemy, get 5 rupees, and you have to decide what. So I sort of get the play. I'm not sure I would have turned around and gone back in for something that wouldn't have actually hit the threshold of 500, but not a big deal either way.
But yeah, I mean, Shiva on the other hand just needs 120 rupees, right? And let's say that's the only 20 rupees you get here, then he's not in a position to worry about Zora. So I actually don't think it's too bad of an idea to just pick up those 20, because like as you said, those mini Moldom caves, they exist that don't have any money.
Sean picking up this piece of heart, he might be opting. No, okay, just grabbing it for, you know, some earlier health. One check earlier, probably. Shiva will get a refill from heart pieces, but
well, there are your other 20s and the hammer.
There's our hammer. So early South Shore might have added some increased efficiency. That magic bat check is going to be really awkward for both runners if that is, you know, our glove or, you know, mountain access or flute. Because you've cleared everything else out of Kakariko now, and you really don't want to go back there before you have a flute or Dark World access. So if one of those is there, they're going to have to make the choice of, you know, when to pull the trigger on that.
Ice Rod Cave has the glove. Alright, but he's still gonna take the water walk here. I like that, because you will never do Zora this fast, or like the water checks in general. So I like that he's doing that. And also Zora is in logic with that glove, so there might still be something.
And I also like, so with no mirror, I'm not a big fan, like I don't do it every time, but if you can just like knock out this water walk, do the Zora area and everything, with that Dark World access that they now have, you could just start hype and head to Pyramid and Catfish, because Hyrule Castle is taken care of, and Zora area is taken care of. You can just like knock that part of the map out forever. Now with the early 5-6 crystals, it's not as attractive, you know.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you don't need
what
a
I
whole
would've
lot
said.
to get Pyramid Fairy access, but it, like, if they're late, if we didn't know what both of them were already, and it was like Mire and Turtle Rock, I would probably just say, you know what, Pyramid Fairy is probably dead, so let's not do it. Did we get a map check from Sean?
And then, no, I don't think so. But there are your flippers, so everything Shiva is doing will be in logic shortly after this, at least for him. Ooh, and a green pennant bomb. Obviously, you get both bows early with pendants in both block dungeons.
I am not gonna lie, I might head straight there.
I can see that play for sure. Specifically because no one has been to Sarshwala, and you could give that green pennant a chance. But yeah, I can see something Bollock in one of those dungeons, specifically pod.
No, what Sean's doing is, the safer play. It's the smaller time investment. And he does have at least one clearable crystal in Logic in Thieves Town, so I don't hate this play at all.
But Shiva has now not the option to go to pod since he's lacking money.
Yeah, that's true. One dig for 20 rupees. I expect that this will just be the Village of Outcasts play.
Looks like Zora. Looks like Zora and the digging game are total scams today. Paying 80 and getting 20 back, and Zora is just giving you a little bit of love for 500 rupees.
Was there any rupees in Hype Cave? Because
I
she currently doesn't have money for dig game. We might see the very rare non-inverted arrow game today.
Yeah, or he's running to Catfish and then 7-quitting there.
Oh yeah, Catfish. Pyramid Catfish actually seems like probably a better play if you don't get the money for dig game.
Nope. No money?
Or you could just save and quit to Stumpy and do dig game after Thieves Town, which is not... I don't hate that play either.
At least like that K45 isn't too isolated, because if Sean is finding the mirror somewhere soon, then that K45 is a little bit out of position, specifically if you're looking for something like the hookshot and you don't want to go near the area, but you've only swamped near it. So that can be pretty unfortunate, I would say, but we're not there yet, so I'm gonna see what's gonna happen.
Okay, here's the big question: does Shivahaze remember that he does not have?
I would say no.
Game money. Okay.
Knowing him, I would say no. And goodbye. There was a rupee on the ground. Not like this. 3, 2, 1.
Looks like we will probably see a quick arrow game. I'd probably do a couple rounds just to make sure I had potential pod money and make sure I still had chest game money after this. But
I mean, at least you wanna get your chest game money, right? So you can do that, and then if everything is going wrong, you can come back from Thieves Town down here and do it again.
And you're gonna get a little at dig game. It's almost... Well, no, you're not, actually, because it's one dig.
Look at this. He's getting double scammed. He paid money to get money, and then he had enough money to get less money. What is that? How does that work in Cairo? Also, Sean has not dipped Skullwoods, which is always an interesting, battle the people that like to go to and dip Skullwoods at the start. And
I kind of like the call. Having gone Hype south, it feels really bad to go straight into Skullwoods and have your Fire Rod just be in Village or a full clearable Crystal Thieves. So after this,
there you go.
So after this, Sean will obviously go there. And yeah, this all routes pretty nicely. It looks like Shiva's on the same path. So the only difference so far is those flipper checks that came up empty, but it's stuff that Shiva won't have to do later, and Sean might do before too long with those flippers. So
yeah, but Sean doesn't have enough money right now for Zora, so if he decides to go to pod at some point, he will be missing pretty much one 300 rupee stash. Not all of the 300, but close to that. And
well, if you go to pod, you can recoup that cost.
Yeah, I guess so. But
that
that is the question then.
Yeah, and you do have to, that is making the call to go to Pendant Pod over Zora that's been in Logic for a while. Oh man, getting the cape too. We get to check out Bumper on the way into Skull Woods. And
Was
I know
items
that.
on the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We will. I think this is a scenario with no, unless we find like a mirror, where you probably clear Skull Woods front to back, and then you just get to save and quit from the back.
Yeah, might route Bumper Cave in between. Gotta be a little bit careful here in the dungeon. Still on green mail, only 5 hearts. That means 2 shots are allowed, but the third one will kill you, even though you have the fairy stone. So and the cape.
Yeah, these crickets do 2 hearts on green mail, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Stun price are 10 arrows today, and I think that's the 4th item actually. So yeah.
We'll see if Sean remembers that, or if we saw correctly. I guess we could be checking that on Shivahaze's.
Sean was checking his inventory after the 4th chest. No,
there is a compass.
Okay,
so there is. That was the 3rd item.
So pretty much the next chest decides if we can skip the big chest or not, because there has to be the key.
We're kind of running out of checks overall, though. We've got the pendant bow dungeons.
Ooh,
there's our
there's
Cane
the
of
cane.
Tamaria. Doesn't do anything for us until we have the Titan's Mitts, but we will be needing it, and it's nicer to have earlier than later.
Also, you never say no to a cane. It's so useful in so many dungeons, so you definitely take that.
Absolutely. But that means that Blind will have our map. Probably see Skull Woods from Sean. Maybe Bumper into Skull Woods. Could do the north checks after, but I don't know. I think that's a lot of extra running with no mirror, in my opinion.
I totally agree there. That's very inefficient. At least, yeah, you definitely just go with here and maybe even start clearing from the front so you don't have to come back in the end. It feels like either our Dark World our Mountain Axis or like Titan's Mitts are in the eastern area right now, unless the fire turns up to be the way.
Eastern pod area. So there's a fair amount of pod that's in logic with the bow and fire rod, but Dark Maze and Helmasaur are not. Lamp would give us mountain access, and Sean not opting to do the front to back clear. I get it. Both items can very easily be in the back.
Yeah, not only that, there could be like the big key on Morphulon, and then the big chest has an item as well. So
even checking the vanilla big key chest.
Even though he has the cane, interesting. I guess he really
items
wants to
are
do
there-
from the back to the front and maybe go catfish afterwards. I can see that.
Yeah, I think catfish is a very likely play, and then you start at your house and go probably pyramid to pod, I imagine.
Now, here's my question, Vortex, for you. Does he remember he has a fairy if he wants to like death warp after checking the second chest? Because he will, right? Since this is his first check and he wants probably both items.
Yeah, he will check it. I don't think it's worth like releasing the fairy to death warp. So if he still has it after Moth, hopefully he runs out and doesn't try to death warp. But
I was
yeah,
wondering if he would like do the death warp thing immediately because he was on 4 hearts and that's a really quick death warp if you go back to the screen. But then you risk, you know, the Morphula fight.
I think I would just run and check that in case of a sword and just walk back out, take the time hit. Ooh, and that's
Oh no!
unfortunate, Wallmaster.
Meanwhile, Shivahaze is done with Village of Outcast. I think he's going to check Bumper Cave first as well. Yep.
So we're gonna get all this taken care of very efficiently from both runners' side.
Sean also making good use of those silver arrows.
With Shiva checking Bumper, I think this probably will be a front to back clear.
Nope.
Guess not.
Maybe they all plan for Catfish if nothing's coming up here. And I think that's legit. If you want to do that,
Yeah.
sure.
I think it's Catfish is a pretty solid play. We are running low on solid plays.
And also, it is kind of efficient if you think about it in long terms, right? You go from Catfish towards Pyramid and then can go to Pod. So you did pretty much the whole Darkwood in like 2 loops. Also, nice fight from Sean here against Morphula. Didn't even use the fairy.
That your question from before does come up. Will he remember? He has one.
I think I would have gone. I'd rather go for the Death Warp there. Like, take intentional hits on the way.
Well, I mean, the death warp, you know, like the death costs 10 seconds, and running out costs, you know, maybe 15 to 20.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that's enough for me.
It's not.
It's not massive. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But you know,
Well,
there have been
the time it
races
takes
like
to death
2-3
warp.
seconds. So
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. But maybe the value of keeping that fairy a little longer, to where you would actually maybe want it, is worth running out. And I think I would make the same choice Sean did here.
Yeah.
It's
it's fair.
both are very
I
valid
think
choices.
yeah, exactly. I think it's totally okay, but I like runners that are aggressive and like try to get these time saves. I like seeing that. Just, you know, makes it more exciting. They always have a fairy in their pocket, then it's not exciting.
Shivahaze might try to take this death warp and forget he has a fairy. So keep your eyes peeled for that one.
So we haven't found too much in here, right?
Is there even an item in the? Wasn't it a small key in this bridge chest? Because if so, we haven't found any items.
We have found 2 small keys. So those were from chests for sure. There's a bottle.
Shiva does release the fairy.
Incredible stuff happening. And there's a mirror.
There's our mirror. So front to back wins again.
So interesting. Now that
Wins
North
this
Road,
time, actually.
this North Road suddenly became way more attractive because now is the literal best time to check Graveyard Ledge in the game.
And Sean, without having checked Zora area at all, gets the dream here. He has his flippers, doesn't have to worry about doing an Ancilla fake flipper. Yeah, so this is a great find for Sean. That mirror also opens up the front of Swamp Palace.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Hookless Swamp Dip Vortex. Are we in? Are we in?
I don't know, man.
I want some
full
mid
clear.
there. I mean, come
Full
on.
clear of,
Let's go.
of Pendant Pod and Eastern with Saha and Green Pendant turn in.
But it's a hookless Swamp Dip, right?
Yeah, it's a game-deciding play right there if one of our runners decides to do it. Almost like it's not necessarily game deciding, but that is the kind of play that can decide games very easily.
I mean, if pot early or like Eastern early doesn't have what you're looking for, you're then probably gonna continue in there, right? And then hoping that Swamp just has a lamp or something. But you might end up doing Swamp anyway, because there's not just a lamp, there's some more important items. I don't know.
Like
That's
the hook shot.
Well, that would be the ideal case, I guess. But if it's more like a required double dip thing, like
Oh, interesting. So Sean, I'm not sure what. He's going to go up the mountain. Sequence breaking the mountain here. I kind of like the play. You don't have Zora money. It's it's not fully in logic, but I think I like this play over like just orphaning Zora or I understand it. I think there's a good aggressive call to be made to just say like, hey, I'm gonna get everything but Zora done. Let's go for it.
I mean, it's not important on how to get up here, right? If you find the lamp up here, then you know that the flute is somewhere down here. So it's not just convenient, but a good information play as well about what the seed wants from you. And with the fire rod and pack,
catfish.
Yeah, and with the fire rod and pack also there, the next 300. You don't have any problems in Hera or anywhere where you need like a fire source. So you don't really care about the lamp, and we have silvers already, so even less now.
How do you feel about the play if Hera is fire locked and say you get an item? How do you feel about the idea of doing East Death Mountain to see if you get that hook shot before coming back?
I mean, it depends, right? If you have like Pot Eastern, Thieves Down, Silverwood's cleared already, and have done obviously Hype Cave, then it sounds definitely a lot better than if you have, the other things not done already. But I would do those probably before the mountain if I'm missing the hookshot, because nobody wants to go back for hookshot cave alone, right?
Yeah, but with no mitts, you're not necessarily orphaning it though right now, right? Like, I think I kind of like in this scenario, I kind of like the idea of leaving Hera, doing East Death Mountain, and if you don't find hookshot or whatever, you come back and do Hera and Spike. Sean mirroring, but deciding, nah, I'm just gonna clear it. I don't hate this play at all, but
I have a different scenario for you though. If you have the hookshot here and find an item, and let's say the Biggie, how do you feel about the idea to go to the boss first before dropping down? You give a chance to get the item on the boss and, do a second Hera pot and then jump down, but not having to climb up again if you check the big chest.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
You can do that even with a small key and hope, that the second time you Hera pot is with a big key and then go for the big chest or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that that's probably like the play to make. Is if you can Hera pot, you probably should, because most people will, and you take the slight time loss of like getting the second item, like doing another Hera pot, going back into the dungeon and everything. But you lose so much time if you just decide like, I'm gonna play it safe, go to the big chest, or go get the big key, then climb, or then Hera pot, and then the items are just in Compass Chest and on Muldorm.
I'm talking about if we get one item like in the cage or in the chest, and then have one item remaining. If like the way to the boss immediately might be faster, and then doing a second Hera pot to get big chest and Compass Room, and then mirroring from there.
I think if I had the big key, I probably wouldn't do that. Like if I already had, well, I don't know. Actually,
like the way from the big chest up to the point where you would come out from the teleportation after the Hera pot. Is that the time worth like doing a second Hera pot? Is the question. Or is it like just a small time or so if you are right with the boss, having the second item is enough of a time save? get what I
That's an
mean?
interesting question. I think that is probably an underexplored meta
Yeah, I guess that
meta
you would
question
have
in routing.
you would have to time what the time loss or maybe even time save. I don't know. I don't know what would have been or what would be faster, but versus the amount that time could be saved. So I don't know.
I have seen people skip the middle of Hera gambling on the boss. Like it is something that I know has happened. I don't see it often though. But there are lots of little routing choices like that that are really really interesting to think about and discuss, and have not quite caught up into the racing meta yet. Nothing of
The second
value
item.
in Tower of Hera, but one of our 5-6 crystals and the third crystal on the board for Sean, and Shivahaze right behind.
So in your case, if we combine our two ideas, coming back for the second item and doing the boss first would have been the absolute perfect play here.
Yeah, that's true.
No big key, no middle Hera, so maybe we should think about that.
I'm checking Floating Island.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Oh, okay. So I think he's probably going to come back. He's going to bomb jump Paradox regardless of what he finds here and do Spike Cave.
Yeah, makes sense. Although I don't personally like that too much because I think the way from Paradox Cave with the bomb jump and stuff might be actually slower than just 7 quitting and running up, but I'm not certain about that. Because like you don't then clear the mini molotov and just open the chest and just save and quit. But
yeah, that's true.
On the other hand, let him find mids and he's gonna come that way anyway with the Dark Death Mountain. Shiva needs another slash. Oh, don't go. No, that's the enrage phase. Okay.
And as you mentioned, Sean did find the mitts in the 2 chests of Paradox, so the sequence break of the mountain gonna pay off for both runners here. So I think it's our mountain access is on eastern area at this point.
All right, never mind the hookless swamp dip. So I think our runners kind of want to see either the lamp or the flute next behind the mitts, so they can tell what they logically missed.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the case. Like if you get the flute, you just don't worry about it, right? Like
yeah, at least have the information what you missed is important. If as long as you don't know what you're missing, it's kind of, you know, there's this anxious feeling that you might be on the wrong track or not, and specifically for things like left side swamp, it's interesting.
Do you chase the logic, or do you go where the density is? Because do you assume your mountain access is lamp on left side swamp, and maybe those mitts are perfectly in logic and your flute is somewhere behind them? Or do you assume that flute is your logical mountain access, perhaps in left side swamp or something, and you like make the play to take the extra time to clear it?
So yeah, I think our runners like want to see what's obviously here in Hookshot Cave and up here on the mountain. I can see them dipping Turtle Rock if they get the right medallion here, but I don't know if you want to.
I think I probably would have checked Hookshot Cave before this.
Yeah,
for Sean, just in case that medallion was there. I think I would.
It's Quake.
Have taken a look.
And after that, I think we're gonna see an Ice Palace full clear since we have the cane. Hopefully we find on the way the flute or the lamp, because I think they want to go to swamp soon, right? Because it's a crystal, full clear, a good dungeon. We just got the hook shot, but you really want to know if you're missing the flute, because if yes, that could be left side, and that could be decided to actually make left side swamp.
Yeah, I totally agree. Swamp is more items, and you're looking for a fair number still. But, the fact that left side swamp was in logic before the mountain, and the back of swamp wasn't, and you're still looking for your flute, which could be that
Yeah,
logical mountain
but
access. I think ice is the much faster play, and getting a little more info.
I actually like you said we're looking for a lot of items, but are we? We might just need that flute right now because we found
That's
combos.
true.
So you really, really, really want to know what you're missing.
Not making the call to use that fairy. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. I don't know. I probably use that invincibility item, though. Maybe he's just trying to save magic for that Ice Palace play and not having to worry about that side of things.
Yeah, and he might want to
Not
take a
having to use
second bottle with
combos.
a blue view or
Mhm.
something.
Sean is going straight. Oh, never mind.
He wants to
Baited.
go ice first. And I totally agree with that, because yes, ice is not in logic yet, and there could not be a flute, but there could be a lamp on the way telling you that the flute is actually the logical way to go up. And he's even doing the hobo check before, which I kind of like, because first he didn't do it at all with his flippers, right? So logical progress could just be here, and that could be the flute.
With the mirror and no flute, I probably would have just saved hobo to do like on the way to pod after swamp, which is probably the route I'd be taking.
Yeah, but I think he wants to save. So like he wants to save the Zora area for after ice, just mirroring and going into
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
And
Well, I might have done that anyway.
just for like the off chance that the flute is here, and he could skip a bit in ice pillars like Ice Tea. You just want to check that here. It's like you don't want to check hobo at all, right? But just do it now, and then you're more safe. And Shivahaze actually going into the eastern area. Looks like this is gonna be.
This has to just be Saha's Closet, right? You don't do everything.
I would say yes. Specifically, that pod is more interesting.
I do like this play from Shiva, actually. Like you've got two clearable but slow and out of logic dungeons to finish, and you don't have mountain access yet. It would really, really stink to leave your mountain access just in Saha's Closet, accessible, as soon as you finish Escape. So I actually kind of like that play. It's not like combining it with pod is a little faster, but a pod Eastern play is a little faster. But again, it's on the margins, and you're playing to see where your mountain access is if it's flute.
Then we get off some divergence here. Sean is going into ice. That at least we thought is gonna happen on both sides, but Shiva's saying no, I'm gonna go swamp. There's more in logic, and I might go with ice. This can work out, but we also don't know if we need another medallion. That could also happen.
Yeah, the single medallion is also another factor here. I would think I would be a little surprised if Shiva doesn't do left side, making the swamp play early. But sometimes it's also logic schmogic. Left side swamp is slow. I'm not doing it. So yeah, have to see how this works out for both runners.
Ooh, and there's Quake, so now we're probably talking about a flute only, unless Ether's coming up. But now we can also see Turtle Rock coming back into play.
That's true. So now all you are thinking about is mountain lamp logic, because you need to know what your logical mountain access is. There's no two ways about it. You need to know what can and can't be in Pendant Turtle Rock, what can and can't be on Smith Chain. Which, makes the question of left side swamp here really, really interesting. For
Yeah,
Shiva, because
and
you're one from go. You know, but this is one of the only things that is in logic without mountain access, right? Because like,
yeah, and that's why I like the ice play a little bit more, because you have seen more checks behind the mids. So technically, if you find the lamp here, right, then you know, okay, Flute has to be somewhere somewhat early. But in Shiva's case, you
definitely
don't know
don't
what's
mind.
nice.
I definitely don't mind going back first. It's not as huge of a time loss as people talk about, and like you never know what you could find. It could just be lamp somewhere else, even like dark basement of pod with that fire rod for a flute behind that hook shot back of here. One from go, I think. Regardless of logic, it's just the correct call to go back first. But,
so. Well, yeah, it depends, right? Because like the back is hookshot locked, and hookshot was like flute or lamp locked, so you kind of want to know.
But you might find out by finding your flute back here or your lamp back here, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that could have also happened in ice. I don't know. There's no correct answer to this. Like, it's how you want to play it.
Well, I think I would definitely expect Sean to also go back first, one from go.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get any information here. Like, he didn't get his flute, or he didn't get his lamp, so yeah, makes sense. Would have not gone in the back if it's like the lamp is in ice, and then the flute can't be in the back. Shiva has to be a little bit careful, even though it's like the easy phase, but took an unfortunate hit before. So there are 2 items on the left side, and I think we did not see the big key at all, unless it was in waterfall chest. That's the only chest I didn't see.
I do not think we have seen the big key. So, man, I think you go back in here. Like you're looking at between 5 and 10 minutes to clear 2 pendant dungeons. After if ice is also empty. So yeah, so that this is one drawback of maybe doing the swamp play first is like it doesn't actually matter because nothing's in ice, and Sean will probably make the exact same play, but the cost of doing left side swamp, if you say find your go mode in ice or info about go mode, is pretty high to risk first.
No big key, and that's what Jonker's wife tells us, and that's why I'm gonna say shout out to our tracker, by the way, Jonker's wife, making a great job here. Thank you for doing that. So Sean is on his way to swamp. Shiva is already in swamp doing left side. I might see still a diver down here. Switch into the bombs. Yep.
Yeah, so like technically I think it can be faster to do. Okay, nice.
Okay, this is weird.
Exactly the opposite of anything you wanted to do with that.
Yeah, that was like combining 2 ideas.
Yeah, this NMG path. One thing that can be said for it is it's very consistent. It's a couple dashes. It's free. Diver down. You have to get quickly to save any of the time. It's kind of finicky, and you risk losing time.
It's better to do if you don't have boots, because like walking in water without boots is super slow, and that makes it more viable. But with boots, you're probably more consistent if you're just like going the regular way, unless you're like a rando god. I don't know, like an execution god, and just do it easy first try every time.
Do we see the big key, or do we get our last item and get to peace out? Okay, nothing in swamp.
So that's where Zoro is hiding his money that you pay him, I guess. Like $300.
Okay, so cave 45, and then it's got to be Pyramid Pod Eastern, right? Like that's.
I mean, we could go to Agina, which is a very awkward spot, but
Yeah, that is a terrible spot right now.
yeah, that looks like a pot Eastern play.
Oh, Smith Chain. I don't know how I feel about this. I think I am focusing mountain access before. This is an efficient play. It's not. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. He's probably going to save and quit with purple chest and check Agina. Which...
I can't see him not thinking ahead about this, and now deciding a little bit on the fly, like I should do this right now, even if I wanted to go ice. That was not a great idea to go swamp first, but I kind of have to right now because like I just now play like the lamp was the logical item coming up the mountain, and now I hope for the flute to be here. So I can see why he's doing that, even though this is probably not a well thought out process, I would say. It's like, it's a race, you know, you're looking for one item, you're thinking, where could the flute be, where could it not, what are you doing next, and then you suddenly get new ideas, and you realize, oh, there's a Smith Chain opener, what if it's there, and stuff. Like, all these little things get to you, and then, you know, they're like, sometimes you change plans, and I think that's, that might have happened here.
Well, and something to think about, too, is that, you know, any thread that you follow at this point in the seed is... you know, basically a big coin flip, because it all hinges on what your logical mountain access is. If lamp is your logical mountain access, then all of these could very validly be the flute. If flute is logical mountain access, they can't. So like, and that's true of, you know, staying in logic. Maybe you're just, you know, chasing your lamp for no reason.
Nice fight, by the way, from Sean against Argus.
See if he goes back in. I think you do. He'll probably go back in and get his nothing. But
oh, this might be an Agina check. That's the option he has right now. And I like that he's checking Desert Ledge as well, just in case the flute is there and he has to actually look for the book.
I don't love it, because, like, if you get the book, you're just going to do Bomb Boost into Desert as your next set of checks anyway.
Yeah, but if you know that you need the book, and you find it first chest and pod, you can immediately 7-quit.
That's true.
And that's just like this, like, invest these, like...
knowing that you can do that. Yeah, knowing that you can do that is where, like, I might do it anyway and save... I mean,
that's why we're checking Floating Island, right? That's literally the exact same reason. So I like that he's consistent with his decision to check these open items.
I thought Shiva was running to pod, and I was like, I definitely do pyramid into pod from that portal, but no, it's obviously the ice play.
You know, after that ice palace, he can mirror over and go just swim to the right, up, and then go to the 5 portal. And just go and pot an Eastern there.
Are we going to last locate our mountain access on the pyramid? Because I can see that happening from both runners very easily, actually.
Yeah. And in these kind of stores, it's most likely the lamp, right?
Yeah, the lamp opens a lot more. The interesting question that I've been waiting to ask until one of our runners decides to go to the pot Eastern area is, like, if there's a 50-50 in Eastern, do you just take it? Because, like, you're looking for...
I think that's the reason why I would clear the front of pot before. Like, at least everything until Helma.
Yeah.
But
but also, like, do you maybe, like, skip Dark Maze? Because, like, if it's, like... unless you found the lamp, like, that's, like, you're more likely to find your mountain access first.
So here's my thing.
Not like skip it. But like, do you maybe aggressively like do all the stuff that's in logic and then mirror to Eastern before, you know, risking going back in?
I would do it this way, because what are the options? If we get the lamp, suddenly Turtle Rock is in logic, right? So if I'm convinced the lamp is coming up, I either decide between Turtle Rock and Pot Eastern rather than Pot and Eastern. you know? So if I go into pod and I'm not ready to check the dark mist, then I'm basically only key hunting, right? Because like we get so many keys early on, and we have to get a lot of keys. Harmless Hellway is technically 6 key logs. What if one is in the dark? Well, we have a fire rod, but you know, all the items are mostly in the dark. So I would be ready to see the flute there anywhere. Like even before doing Eastern, if it's not in logic. Because
We are now
at this
up
point,
and down to Pod Eastern for our mountain access, right? There's and
I think
pyramid.
the pyramid ledge is the only one that's left.
Absolutely no checks left in the game other than that, though. Sean might actually, you know, just the order he has done checks, set himself up a little better to do pyramid into pod, but you know, pyramid into catfish is also an option for him. And
Yeah, I mean, Shiva could still go with the 5 portal towards pyramid, but I guess you would save and quit from there rather than mirroring over and go to 5 to go to pyramid, I guess. If he wants to go to pod and Eastern immediately, then probably better to just mirror after Ice Palace and go to 5. Or walk to 5.
yeah, and I could see it either way. Like it's can kind of seem overly safe to go do pyramid there. Especially in Shiva's case where he's closer now than he would be if he saved and quit and checked pyramid. So just get to pod Eastern where your stuff is. Interesting that Sean made the same call as Shiva. It you know, I get it. Smith Chain is hard to pass up. It's when you're as close as you're ever gonna be, you've cleared everything else in the area, and you're looking for flute, so that's not gonna bring you back to check it. It's out of logic, but it's fast, and then it does lead into the in logic Agina pretty well.
So, Vortex, I have a question for you, and I think Chad kind of wants to know about that. If we find a lamp, and if we suddenly find an ice shot, can they get their hopes up?
Yes. I mean, like the P word, pedestal is definitely on the table here.
I mean, wouldn't it? I mean, it doesn't
even
need to
ether
be for the flute. Yeah, I mean,
ether could be there. So there's definitely a non-zero chance, and Sean did run straight to the pod portal. Hasn't checked Saha's closet either, so this is probably and Shivahaze is saving and quitting here. So this
interesting. They're doing it the opposite way we thought.
Yeah.
I mean, like for Sean, it makes on another level sense as well, right? Because he has he has 3 more items here than Shiva, while Shiva has these 3 items in already and had to commit to dungeons if he's going this area. So making no, never mind.
Oh my god, Shiva taking the closer portal to pyramid and not even checking to maybe save himself almost 10 minutes.
But this is making me like feel very exciting because look at how close these guys. They have literally the exact same checks minus catfish. And
so when Sean gets back into this portal,
this is so close.
They're going to be leaving the maze with Kiki at literally the same time.
Holy! Like, give them the flute in the first chest, the same check wherever they do it. I hope they're both going into pot. At this point, I hope they're doing the exact same checks.
Yeah.
Like, this could be an amazingly close race over, like, 2 dungeons and GT. Come on, just give us the flute here. Just the flute.
Yeah, keep it a little interesting. I still want both runners to, like, last located on the pyramid at this point. Just, like...
Come on.
Not to be mean, but just, like, man, they're, like... It was such an interesting thing to route in. Like I was talking about the possibility of height to catfish for Shiva having done the whole Zora area.
I mean, if they're both last locating it, okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I don't want the race to be decided by somebody doing that earlier, not when it's this close. But Sean went straight to Bolok's side with a key and shooter room. Interesting choice.
That gives us a little bit of like an education of which route will be faster to get into the back while clearing the front with this certain, well, like this specific key layout?
One item. Shiva must have gotten something that wasn't a key.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Because I don't
you're
know
right.
if it was this chest or the basement.
It could be the bridge chest.
We know it was not this chest.
It was. Oh yeah, it was a key. Right, you're right. Map out of the bridge. Okay.
So yeah, the play, Sean's play would have actually been pretty darn fast to, if he had continued off the bowlock side and bonked back over, he would have gotten the other item and just gone right upstairs.
So Shiva taking a little bit of a lead here because of his routing decision to, I would say, do it more the standard way. If you get like a key and then go to the bridge.
Okay. This is okay.
And there's your lamp.
So
So
everything is on the table now. Everything in the game.
So are we leaving pod early? Are we not like finishing it, or what are you gonna do here with this lamp? This is like such a difficult decision.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I'm thinking now about how interesting that hookless swamp play could have been, potentially, if you went into swamp and had Quake your first time up the mountain before getting the hook shot. Like, do you go into TR there?
Yeah, I mean that would have certainly. I mean, if you do the hookless swamp and you get Quake out of this, surely you're gonna do that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And maybe you just never get your lamp that way if Flute's there. And that, I think Helma has a compass. Yeah, so Helma has a compass.
Oh,
it's
God.
only green pendant.
Oh God.
I think it's Eastern or TR, and definitely not green pendant Helma here. There's no way.
Oh no.
And
so what if the green pendant has the ice rod?
Ah man, that's
And what if
that's a bummer then.
No, I'm not gonna go into the what ifs now. Like, there are so many trolley positions. Like, I can see runners getting the flute of Trinex, Siphon quitting without the pendant, and then needing ether from pedestal. No,
Sean
we're not.
is making the play to Helmasaur. He is not leaving anything unturned in this area, which will probably decide the race. Unless he decides he isn't going to touch Eastern.
Yeah, this is another interesting point. Like, okay, you're getting the green pendant now, right? So, do you still commit towards Eastern, or do you go like the off check for the green pendant first? Because at this point, when you're so late in the game, these kind of like extra time losses can decide a race.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even if green pendants, even if nothing here is the answer, like, it is not too late for Shiva to decide he's going back into pod to kill Helmasaur if Eastern comes up empty, just because, he doesn't want to last located or climb the mountain again or whatever. Yeah. Those 2 extra mirror transitions could make a big difference.
And so, we've just seen, like, in pod itself, right, where if they go just slightly different, this can make up some time in one or the other direction. By the way, there's the first blue mail, so so this is gonna get like. It's gonna be just up where the flute is still, but if they end up last locating it as well, then it's about actually how efficient did you route this all together.
I think that it is absolutely positive that if it is Pyramid Ledge at this point, they will last locate it. I think that is safe to say.
I don't know about that one, because there is still like, okay, if we're talking about a flute go mode, yes. But
yes.
We could still get like the book, right, and still have to do red bomb.
Yeah. Pyramid Fairy is the exception.
So Shiva is also not finishing Eastern, but the boss also has no items.
I think that's like, you don't play for Ped with no Ice Rod here. Like, I don't like it's.
And Shiva also finishing.
Okay, so still got a race on our hands.
And Sean is gonna check Green Pendant first. This could be the moment. And I can see him actually not going back to Eastern after that, because it is like 20 seconds still. And, you know, people commit.
Yeah. And Eastern was a possible play really early.
And it's just 10 arrows.
Leaving seems like he is going to go.
Yep,
Oh no,
yep,
this
yep,
is
yep.
going to be Pyramid and Catfish, I think.
Nope,
oh, no,
we're going back. It's the faster way to go this way. I agree.
Yeah.
It sucks that you have to portal twice, right? But it's still better than walking up the stairs, being annoyed by these statues and stuff. Oh god, what if? What if? There are so many what ifs.
I mean, it's a what if between Pyramid Ledge and Turtle Rock at this point, and that's not a real what if. Let's be real.
That's not in itself. But you're assuming we're finding the flute and we're Gucci, and I'm feared. You know, I'm scared by Randall. like
maybe the ice rod's on Pyramid Ledge. Oh man, this seed's been really interesting.
And it's classic, right? It's padded a pendant pot and pendant Eastern. You don't want to go in this area at all. And then both runners are pretty much like last locating it, or rather like have only one check or two checks left.
Well, and I remember I said out of Hype Cave I would be going straight to Pendant Pod. Like I was gonna take a look at it with those two bows. I would have had that lamp so early, wouldn't have killed Helma. And like, while neither of these runners did that, you can be absolutely sure that both of them are thinking their opponent might have done it. Like, how early have they had that lamp? Have they had, the knowledge of the mountain access, that much longer?
I mean, both runners
can feeling good right now.
Yeah, but I think both runners can see the other runner not going to Turtle Rock early, because that would have been definitely a gamble. That would have taken some extra time with how many checks you have here in pod. Like, both runners can see the other one, going up the mountain without the lamp, not knowing what the actual mountain access is, and then going to pod Eastern instead of going up to Turtle Rock. And now being in this position to have Pyramid Ledge and Catfish and Turtle Rock left. But Shiva is doing the Pyramid Ledge check.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I guess with the way he came out of pod, it makes a little more sense. It's almost the closest you'll ever be.
And that's right matter. And
Sean is doing it as well.
Also doing it. So yeah, it's Turtle Rock. So we are gonna see Turtle Rock.
Shivahaze has a little lead right now. Sean hasn't done Catfish either, so the lead might grow.
Oh yeah, that's true. So interesting, the decision to, not going from Graveyard Ledge towards Catfish and then doing the Zora might hunt Sean a little bit here. Because he had the option to go there and do it all in once. But I don't know, where did he go? I think he went up the mountain immediately.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's that much faster to go up the mountain from Graveyard Ledge than it is from just to save and quit to sink.
I mean, it's pretty much the same, right? Like literally,
Right.
there's one screen difference with the save and quit. So it's, I don't know if he checked bumper ledge before, because like he was running past it and
He
planning to
did
like mirror
check
there.
on his way out.
Okay,
of Skull.
okay.
But yeah, like I don't know. Like I think to some degree you might just say like, hey, if I didn't check Catfish when it was the fastest it would be after like Graveyard Ledge King's Tomb, like I'm not gonna check it. But like with the pyramid there and being in Dark World at Pod, like it's really easy to convince yourself to do cleanup.
I mean, as long as we don't know if ether is needed or we simply, get ether somewhere, this race is not decided at all. Because even if we get the flute, like there are so many options to happen. Because let's say Shiva finds the flute here, right? He might see ether is needed for Maya, and then what? He can do Red Bomb with doing Desert Palace. He can go back to Turtle Rock. It could be that you need to do Turtle Rock and Eastern again, so you get a pull pedestal. So there's still so many things that could happen, which is making the seed either more interesting.
Speaking of making the seed more interesting, Shiva just found the shovel in the front of Turtle Rock.
Oh god! And now we got
like,
we got a mushroom next, or what?
You just have this thinking in the back of your head, like if that shovel is like if we got a vanilla flute today, like thinking the whole time like should I just leave, take the hit? Like the answer is no, you shouldn't. But what if, right? Like
yeah, I mean, it could have been that your opponent was early in Swamp and then got the shovel early, right? With that quake in hand.
I think it's actually kind of reasonable in the case of like an early Swamp play where you did, you could get into TR. You go in, you just check the front stuff, you get that shovel, and it's like, you know what? I'm not far from go. I'm gonna go do Swamp, do Ice, check the shovel before I decide I'm going further. Like that's not out of the question.
It's just unlikely.
Now, granted, yeah, there are a few levels of slightly unlikely decisions that need to lead up to making that choice. But once you're there, it's not that unlikely. But
I think that's where good mindset in these races comes into play, right? There, you will without a doubt start thinking in your head like, what did my opponent do? What might have missed? Could have gone the same way, or did he something different? And staying calm in these moments and situations is an ability that you really kind of want to have.
Definitely true. And neither runner is feeling very far ahead, if at all. Like Sean just double checked Lumberjack before heading up here because he forgot what was there. It happens, whatever. But like the seed's kind of bad. Like you're not likely to be here that early. You're not like it's very likely that your opponent is not far ahead of you if they're ahead, and that they're not far behind.
There's your flute.
If they're behind. Shiva is checking the big chest. I'm not sure I'd bother.
He's a genius if it's ether.
Oh no, he's not. Okay, he's just saving it.
I thought he's like gonna go for the off chance that this is ether.
Yeah, which I like. I can understand, but I also like, man, this is so close to last locating that like.
I agree. I
think with two medallions, you just have to pretend you're in go, save and quit straight from Mimic.
Also, from a racer perspective, it's more likely that your opponent did the exact same thing, right? And last locate this flute, or rather, almost last locating this flute. So any second you can save is like very good, and the chance of ether being here is comparably low if you think it could be in GT.
Shivahaze is off to Meyer to find out if he is in go mode. Probably slightly better than a 66% chance because to hit that 33%, Ether would need to show up, and we are in go mode.
Wonderful.
Bombos was Hookshot Cave, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. Last chest in Hookshot Cave was Bombos.
Sean right behind, though. Probably will check Mimic Cave before Big Chest. But
so let's see. Misery Meyer can make a little bit. Oh my god!
What? Sean, you have Mimic Cave exists. Please.
I thought he's gonna check the big chest before.
He did, but
he wants to check that, and then on the way out he's mirroring back because he's not expecting any ice rod or something. Which is okay for a full clear, but not when you're only looking for one item. But did you see the big chest itself?
It was Ether.
It was Ether. God,
Shiva was so close to getting super.
Oh my god! I thought Sean is making the big play here.
If Ether was required for Meyer, it would not have mattered that Sean is getting to Laser Bridge late.
But the idea that
doing Laser Bridge before Mimic Cave.
The idea that he, we could forgive him if it's just Ether for Meyer.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's actually not. How high were the chances that Ether is in the big chest and then it's actually in the big chest?
So low.
Oh my god, that could have been so awkward. Like, I thought he wants to check the big chest first because it's just faster than Mimic Cave.
Yeah, and like I sort of get Sean. Like, I'd understand Sean's play, sort of, if I was more than one for go. Well, and he's hard last locating this as well, right? So
he has a shovel. He has a shovel. Okay, he has a shovel.
It's probably Laser Bridge and not Mimic Cave, and he's gonna be extremely angry when he gets this. Trying to make the big play and save 30 seconds on Mimic Cave, which could work. I don't know that I'd have done it, but
I'm not too mad about him because for me, getting this Ether, he's a hero. Like, that could have been a completely different race here, if that actually happened.
Shiva would probably be just finishing up. Well, no, he'd be doing Desert.
He would do Desert, Red Bomb. He would have had to climb up Turtle Rock, where Sean only, let's quote it here, did like the Laser Bridge. But he's gotten Ether out of the big chest, and then it's gone mode.
Did we do cutscene before lobby?
No.
Or
I think he. Okay. I think he only used the switch.
Okay. Oh yeah, half his magic is gone. I think. Well, whatever.
He gets full magic here. Oh, you mean Sean? He has a blue goo.
No, I like Shiva. So like, if you use Fire Rod in Meyer 2, you'd be less than that. So you did pick up some sort of refill if he did anything, or maybe he just didn't do any of the fight. I don't remember. I was too focused on.
Let him play. I think he will be fine with his magic. He's in go mode. You know exactly what you need, right?
Yeah, no, I was just trying to reason from his magic count whether he did the Firelock side.
Oh, I see. I don't think he did. I think he just used the switch and then went for the main chest.
Yeah, that would make sense. Sean will probably have to do the same thing because he is completely out of magic, so it is a no-brainer to just check the lobby chest first.
And it will save him the time of not checking the first Firelog chest, because people tend to do that. Since, you know, the small key, big key situation there. Alright, and that is the 6th crystal for Shivahaze. Only needing Desert Palace, which is right around the corner.
A couple minutes behind. I'm gonna probably take that path to
Good much.
the big key. I think all our fetch quests late. And Sean at this point is feeling pretty bad when Meyer wasn't Ether, I am sure, because like he knows that it's no, it's not worth it. Oh.
I think when Sean is looking at this race back, and I'm presuming he's not winning this right now because like Shivahaze.
Yeah, it's
right
comfortably Shiva's to lose at this point. But,
I mean, there's still GT happening, right?
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
GT routing could still make a big difference. I don't know if it would 100% swing it by itself, but it could bring it within range.
Yeah, but I hope if he's looking back at this race, I hope he realizes he would have not, or rather he didn't lose if he loses, that because he's bad, because his decisions just didn't work out. Like, think about that. Skullward's not clearing the front, going for the back first, right? Doing swamp, not doing the left side first, also the slow thing. Everything last locating, even towards this flute, not even ether working out. Like, everything he did could have worked out pretty well, but it was unlucky in this seat. And the same with like the big key and Meyer, right? Instead of just checking the other chest first because he doesn't have the magic and getting the big key, he's deciding to use the green U and then using that to light the torches. So it's just a little bit unluck just on his side. Oh, not to take away that Shiva is a very, very good runner, and is doing very well. He's also not like flying through the seat. That just is because the seat is not laid out in a fun way.
Yeah.
But
Sean just killed his spooky with by using the boomerang there.
That's unlucky. Meanwhile, Shiva.
That's something not everyone knows, is that not only the lamp or powder break spooky, but the boomerang does as well. Both boomerangs.
And with that, Shivahaze is taking crystal number 7. Are we gonna play a little game?
I think although the bot is not here, I think we will. Do you have a guess for where the big key in Ganon's tower might be out of the 22 possible checks?
I am gonna pick number 10. What about you?
That is a number, can be several different places in the dungeon. I usually like to go with 5. I don't really have a reason.
Fair. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. See how it goes.
And Sean
just
is
a desert
only
behind. Pretty quick
Yeah.
dungeon, but again, this is at the moment Shiva's to lose. Going to be hard to pick up much time. Shiva very well equipped at the moment. Blue mail, gold sword, silver arrows.
Alright. Get your guesses in. There are only a few seconds left until Shivahaze has entered GT.
Okay,
And we are
so
starting on the right. Interesting.
if there is no small key in this room, that is probably the biggest possible swing
Ooh, yeah,
that
that's...
is possible. So if Sean goes left first and the big key is in Compass Room, Sean will make up a lot of time. I do not know if it will be enough by itself.
Man, more like Red Rupee Tower. All the Red Rupees.
That is 3 checks for Shiva.
Number 427.
In there.
This cutscene feels so long when you see like Shiva flying through GT.
Yeah. Sean picks up his 7th crystal and will be right behind Shiva into GT. If he goes left first, we are going to see a significant amount of time made up. Pending big key location.
Oh, there's
Never
the
mind.
GT big key.
We are not going to see much time made up.
I think that's number 9.
So, the way to make up some time would be, well, what possible GT route could make up time over Hope
That
Left?
is the Rando Room Rush.
I know you're a big fan of that,
Yes.
that GT route, and it would work out this seed. You'd save. Not like you kind of hope there's a key in Hope when you get a big key like that with the random.
You know, I was not sure in your voice if there was like any sarcasm or anything in that, but then as long as you were like presenting it, I was certain. Okay, someone knows. Man knows.
I don't think we're gonna see a random room rush from Sean, but so
I mean,
now left first would lose a significant amount of time because
I mean,
the clock you out of.
you sometimes get surprised.
Yeah,
Maybe he does it because he wants to save some time. Because like, no way he thinks this like left, right, left is the play to go here, right?
Yeah,
like
if,
everything you did was basically the wrong decision, unfortunately.
Yeah, left, right, left would be literally a play hoping that there is no key in Hope and it is in Compass, because
Like
that
I
is
can
the
see
only way
him,
that makes up time.
I can see him making Hope Room and then just doing Tide Room, just because like it feels like you're gonna lose anyway, right? When you go to Turtle Rock Laser Bridge instead of Mimic Cave. Yes, Shady, Render Room Rush is amazing.
If there is no key on Torch or DM room, you turn around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like a Dark Magician, basically. It's the anti-Render Rush room, basically, then. Because like I personally don't like the left, right, left, because you mirror like twice and doing no checks, basically. I don't like that.
Yeah, the idea with that route is mostly that it reduces variance. Your GT will go the same way every single seed if you do that.
I mean, nothing beats the go to Hope Room, find a key route, because that is probably the fastest route overall, but that requires you to get a key, and that's what makes GT so fun. There's so many like strats you can follow.
Fastest route is go to where the big key is. So
that I agree.
I don't know why more runners don't do that, but definitely another one of those meta defining things that should be explored a little more.
But people like playing rando, so they're like chilling a bit, you know, see what's up in GT.
Yeah, that's true. Shiva, not really seeing what's up in GT. I think he might have NMG muscle memory the pre-Moldorm chest, but did not grab the Moldorm 2 chest. Oh, unfortunate hook. Sean about to get his big key.
Yeah, right. Meanwhile, Aga 2 on Shivahaze's side. And you know, they're around the 130 mark, and considering the seed and how it worked out, and they had to go up to Turtle Rock again, and then climb the mountain again, having the mids not for a long time for clearing this whole seed. I think that's a nice time to have.
Yeah, I would hazard a guess that neither runner is feeling amazing about their position in the race. Like Shiva is feeling better than Sean. I think, you know, like
on a minimal scale, yes, but he will feel better when he's done and won.
Yes,
then definitely. And specifically if he hears where that ether actually was, he will probably feel a little bit better after that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But knowing how you could have ended up in this seat is like, ugh.
But what I was going to say is I don't think either runner is feeling bad about how long it has taken them to do the checks they have. They have cleared an awful lot of the game in only an hour and a half and don't have much left to clear, especially Sean. Both runners making very good time on this seed. With that Butter Sword, Shiva gets his free 1-1 on Ganon. Is just about to phase 4, where a couple Silver Arrow shots will take him down.
It's the Torchlight with the Fire Rod, very nice. Second one, give us a double. And that is it, unless Shivahaze is gonna drop right before the bridge. He has won this race. And GG's with an official race time GG time of 1:31:42. GG's. Oh yeah, Vortex, do you prefer bacon, ham, or pork? Because that's what the Travis was asking.
I mean, being all technical about it, all three are pork, but
I mean, I was just asking if you can see through the question, so good job on that one.
But I do love me some bacon. And we are joined in the booth by Shivahaze. GG.
Yeah, GG. Hello, everyone. What a seed.
And you have no idea what you missed.
Yeah, the Ether medallion was on Laser Bridge, I guess. I feared you talking about Shaw going all the way before doing the Mimic Cave.
He did, but it was not on Laser Bridge. It was simply in the Turtle Rock big chest. And we thought you were going to check that because you were walking out of Mimic Cave instead of saving and quitting, and then you got out and realized that the flute isn't activated and just save and quit, I think.
To be honest, I really thought about going for the big chest, but I thought, no, there's no way there could be Ether in this moment.
Right.
That's the same thing we said. We said probably Ether just in GT, right? And then for some reason we thought Sean is gonna check the big chest because it's a little bit faster than Mimic Cave, and then go back and check Mimic Cave. He just went for big chest and went on, and then there's suddenly the Ether appears.
Yeah, I think it would have been smart to just do this one more check, just to be sure, because like you said, a lot of people just go for the big chest because it's a faster check than Mimic Cave. But yeah, I was
I don't know if I would have.
there's no way.
There's no way. There's no way.
And then
I think the
there's
argument
no-
can be
Go
can
ahead,
be
go
very
ahead.
easily made for Mimic Cave, like just doing the other, just in case, because it's so common to do it both ways, that you don't want to get burned by specifically the other item.
I was pretty sure we're gonna go the full way in Turtle Rock. Even might beat Trinix and get a
Get a nice rod in there.
get a pedestal seat. I was expecting something like that, so I decided to go for the Mimic Cave early on, just because it's the fastest way if you need to go all the way in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's the fastest. Like Mimic Cave first instead of Big Chest is the fastest way if the answer is neither of them and you're checking it anyway. So that's what I always do too, and I probably would have just saved and quit with the flute as well. So we both would have lucked out on this one.
The seat was very confusing with the with the tight mids and hookshot on mountain, which was basically lamp or flute lock. When I found the Quake medallion, I was thinking about going Turtle Rock first, but I mean, it's you skip the flute or the lamp, and yeah, I was. That was also the reason I went for SeanRhapsody spec, because I was thinking maybe I get a really fast flute and I missed it just in the early game. But yeah, it was
makes sense.
deep in the seat.
Sean finishes up with a nice triple on Ganon, and we'll be crossing the bridge shortly and hopefully joining us.
Yeah, finishing up this seat is SeanRhapsody with an official race time GG time of 1:36:07. GG's.
GG's, John.
Also joining us in the booth is SeanRhapsody. GG's.
GG's.
Yeah, nice seat.
Yeah.
Sean,
I'm not gonna lie, when I got that Quake, I considered just going right back up to TR, but considering I hadn't touched Eastern Pod yet, I was like, I just can't do that. I gotta go check that first.
I was thinking the same
leave
as
there.
you.
Just imagine an alternate history this seed where you do that and then you just get your lamp out of Mimic Cave and you done goofed.
Yup. That was
So-
the other thing. Like without the lamp, that entire thing up there still wasn't in logic. So I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed the flute earlier. So
I think we have to ask you at this point. First of all, did you not do Mimic Cave intentionally because you wanted to be like more efficient at that point, or did
Yeah.
you forget it and then committed to?
nope,
later?
I was going by the numbers. There were more checks in TR as opposed to the one Mimic Cave, so I went for it. Didn't work out, unfortunately. But
I mean, it would have if just either is required for Meyer, because the opponent did not do the big chest in Turtle Rock. He did.
so if ether was required, that would have been huge.
This is a whole different story then, because you win
Oh,
that
man.
by a big margin.
I would have been done.
Yeah, like because Shivahaze then probably is gonna do Desert and Red Bomb, right, and has to go back to Turtle Rock, while you did only, let's say, only the Laser Bridge for nothing,
Mhm.
and that would be GG probably. So.
Oh yeah, I mean that's rando at its finest. I mean, one little thing here and there can change the story, but no, otherwise it wasn't. I didn't think it was a terrible seed, really. Just that one trolly item.
Yeah, you got early Silvers, early Master Sword, nice Dark World access. There were some minor routing divergences, like Shiva went to Catfish after Graveyard Ledge. You, I think, went the mountain immediately.
Yeah, I went back up to the mountain right after that. Yeah.
Yeah, Shiva also did the flipper checks after Ice Rod Cave, pretty much. You did that later after Ice.
I thought about it, but it's like, I've got Dark World access. I'll just go. Why not? I mean, and then I found the flippers immediately, and it's like, well, crap. Maybe I should have done those.
I got a question for Shivahaze here. So the way Sean made it after the mountain trip was doing Ice, doing Swamp, and I think then doing the Smith Chain. You started with Swamp Palace, then doing the Smith Chain, and then Ice. Was there a specific reason for that?
I had no magic for Ice Palace. after the Spike Cave, so I decided for a Swamp Palace
Okay, I see.
to get the
That was
refill.
why I did spike the way I did it and burn my fairy because I knew I was gonna need magic for ice. So
Yeah, Shiva dropped his fairy, I think, after Mothula to Death Warp or something.
No, I just dropped the ferry for nothing. I don't know when or why. I think for a death swap, yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted
I
to
think,
death swap somewhere, and I dropped the ferry to just do a death swap instead.
yeah,
Then you
chest
found the
before Mothula.
mirror in the like one of your next 2 checks after that was
naturally,
that was
always the way it works out.
fantastic.
Typical Randall.
Yup.
Also interesting from both of you. You both went back from port towards pyramid. You had still catfish, Sean. Shiva did that as had after Greater
Oh,
Ledge.
this check felt so bad, but it was the only check left on the bottom, so I didn't want to skip it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. At that point, it's like I know I'm going back up the mountain, but I don't want to do that and then end up leaving flute on the pyramid or something. So it's like I'll just go do it and hope my opponent did it too.
When you guys watch the race back, I want to give Vortex the chance to, but that's something I want to give you as an advice. When you guys were in pod, you entered pod pretty much at the same time, but slight routing divergence in pod and also out of pod with the green pendant made Shiva get a little bit ahead, I would say.
Mhm.
I don't know, Vortex, can you recall?
Well, I don't
how
doubt
that
it.
was?
Yeah, so Sean went directly Bollock's side and then used the keys to check Vanilla Big Key and Stalfos Basement for the last 2 keys. Whereas I think Shiva got forced into Bollock's side by finding the map or compass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
map
I
or
think,
compass,
Yeah.
something like
and
that.
then did Bollock's side. So got so never checked Vanilla Big Key chest, and that was the bulk of the time difference in pod. But Sean went straight for Helma, then turned in Green Pendant, then did Eastern, which and Shiva did everything but Helma, then Eastern, then Helma, then Green Pendant.
Yeah, Emma had no items, so I didn't want to
Right.
go just for the green pendant. But after I finished Eastern Palace and still got nothing, I was like, yeah, you can't skip Helma now, because
Those routing divergences were just like that was all. Like if Flute had been on it, like if Flute had been on Green Pendant, Sean takes a huge lead. If Flute had been in Eastern, Shiva takes a huge
Oh yeah.
lead. Nowhere, it's
Well, it's just like you were said at the start. If Ether ends up being required, then it's pretty much GG because I have and he doesn't. But that's just rando at its finest. So
Yeah, and then in the end, the a little bit more backtracking for checking the green pendant before Eastern, running back to Eastern. Those are like the small time set or like time losses that just come into play when you have to like full clear a seat and both runners basically last locate their go mode.
next time I
kind of
will check
wondering-
this big chest.
I
I
was
won't leave it again.
I think a lot
I
of
was
people
wondering if
like tend to check it first just in case the go mode is there and then back out to mimic.
Yeah, in your
But-
position, I think that made sense because your go mode was guaranteed in Turtle Rock, right?
I
So
believe so, yes. I think
so
I was
yeah,
at that
so
point.
checking the
other than
big
the
chest
shovel.
here, yeah, the shovel was still open, right? You found that in TR, and it could have been like Laser Bridge. I think that was a fair play to make at this point when you know the Turtle Rock is your answer in some way. But I mean, if you go the other way and it's on Laser Bridge, it's even like then it's more efficient to go and do a Mimic Cave first, right? So
This
either
shuffle
way,
made me really nervous because I was so focused on my execution and watched to my map tracker and see, hey, you got a shuffle? Where did I get that shuffle? I completely forgot it was in TR, but yeah, I was scared. I skipped the shuffle and there might be the flute vanilla.
I'm not gonna lie, I was fully expecting that at that point. So when it turned up in Mimic Cave, I was like, oh okay. I guess it's being nice a little bit.
Yeah,
No,
but good race.
I knew I was behind execution wise going into this, so I knew I was gonna have to hopefully out route things. So when it ended up being a full clear, I was not feeling super great about it, but I'll take a decently close. close match here. He was pretty
I-
darn good. So
Thank you. I also was. I think you're one of the strongest opponents in the league, in the group, of our group. So I also was sure this is not an easy match to win.
Yeah, I mean, both of your teams came in with 9 points, so you definitely, guys, you have some skill for sure. So why not be one of the top of the groups? And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
still possible for you guys.
I
Yeah,
think this
maybe
one's
we
gonna
get
go
a
down to the wire
rematch.
for sure.
So I think we can safely say this was a pretty interesting seed, logic-wise, for sure. Any kind of words from you guys that you wanna say or something, so we can wrap things up?
Not that I can think of.
Thanks to you for the commentary.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
really appreciate that.
Definitely didn't wake up expecting the restream, so that was kind of nice.
And yeah, thanks to Sean for the match. And that's basically it. Thanks to the trackers, the viewers. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you guys for making us a great show, and thank you for Yonker's wife for tracking, and also Eteril for restreaming. Also thanks to Vortex, and I want to give you the last word. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you soon. So Vortex, take it away.
Thank you as well. I had a great time doing comms with you. We've got a few more races left today. There's one coming up. I don't know if it has a restream. They were thinking about it, but Ungle HZ versus Tale coming up in about 10 minutes in the Open League. There's one tonight. Sorcerer Finch versus Windfox is getting restreamed, as well as Scupula versus Ahab a little later. Meanwhile, in the Invitational League, coming up at 3:10 Eastern, we've got Divisigns versus Flip Heel on Speed Gaming 5, and the Immortals versus Boomer Friendly, Duke Firebird, and Leviticus on Speed Gaming 2 tonight at 9 p.m. But yeah, plenty more rando today. A lot more races not being restreamed if you look throughout the day. But yeah, so thanks again to everybody involved in this restream. Thanks to both of our runners, and thank you all for watching. And until next time, have a good one.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good one. And we see you in later, Vortex, I'm sure.